there's a threshold of evidence, which in any kind of debate, there's already that established principle. But in the case of a character making a statement, that is a low threshold. That is a low level of empirical evidence. Do you agree with that?
Well, no, not really.
Because
I think the reference you made was a murder scene. Hold on. Was that a murder scene that you referenced or something like that?
I just said that if you have a crime scene in which something happened.
Okay. Yeah. So crime scenes operate on different. The burden of proof for a crime scene is a lot different than like a civil trial or something like that. So the two of those references don't correlate, right? But anyway, when it comes to in a philosophical debate format, right? There is burden of proof, and as long as you meet the lowest standard of evidence, right, that is evidence for that. As long as you're meeting that burden, and you fulfill that burden.
An eyewitness testimony is a form of evidence. However, it is not the highest form of evidence. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but who's the author?
Toriyama. However, you don't have. Okay, here's the problem. Do you know the scene with Shin making the claim about Vegito Blue being superior to Beerus? Do we know that was Toriyama? Actually, was that in his manuscript, or was that in Toriutaru's canon?
It doesn't matter. He approved it.
But no, here's the problem. Because if you're going to be one of those people that's like, well, if the character says this, then we have to go off of that as the starting ground for whether something's true or not. That's not the case because of what I just said, based off a real life logical, situation.
And I went over that. Why the two aren't the same already, and you agree. You agree that he's the author, though. You just agree that he's the author.
I agree that the person who we should be taking absolute claim from is Toriyama.
And you agree that he's the author?
We agree that, yes, we agree that Toriyama is the author.
Yeah.
Right? We know that Toyotaru is the author of the manga. We know that they work together. The details of what they work together with, we don't know unless they outright say it in an interview or we somehow get access to his manuscript.
They did say it in an interview. October 14th. Victor Uchida, Toyotaru, and Akira Toriyama work on this stuff together.
They work on this stuff together, but you don't know the details of what it is that they worked on.
We don't have to. We don't have to have access to the information.
But if you're going to take claims...
In this instance, no, hold on. In this instance, right, Toyotaru, he creates the dialogue, creates the story based on the draft, so on and so forth, right? It gets passed on to Akira Toriyama. Now, originally, based on what we know, apparently, 2 Super Saiyan Blues would have been enough to take down Murzumasu, right? With the exception of his immortality. So Toro kind of had this thing where it's like, well, let's just, since they fused, why don't you just bring Vegito, right? So they brought Vegito in for like a short spurt, right? Now,
that was a Toyotaru idea.
But
yes.
Yeah, and he approved it, and Akira Toriyama approved it, right? So the dialogue and everything gets written out, right? Everything gets fleshed out, the draft pages, so on and so forth, and it's specifically and oddly detailed because Toriyama is looking for specific things in Toyotaro's storytelling, right? And that much we know for certain, right? So you asking for how much info? At bare minimum, we know that the manga, before it gets to Toriyama's desk, before he lays his eyes on it, that whatever Toyotaru writes and scripts and drafts is oddly detailed and specific. Okay, so that would meet the minimum standard of evidence that you're demanding from me, based on that information alone.
All right, and then I can easily go.
Hold on, it goes to Toriyama, right? And he approves it, and they say, "Okay, this is the story." There you go, done.
Is that the end of your point?
Yeah. So unless you have clear and convincing evidence or something beyond a reasonable doubt to suggest why that's not the case, then I don't see where we're going with this.
So Shin, right, the current Supreme Kai, right?
Yeah.
He shares a relationship with Beerus. It was a recent relationship with Beerus because originally Beerus shared a relationship with the Elder Kai before he got sealed away in the Z-Sword, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Beerus shared a longer relationship with the Elder Kai than he did the relationship that he shared now with Shin, the current Supreme Kai, correct? Hello?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. And we also know that Shin is not very knowledgeable about his roles as a Kaioshin because he didn't even know about his own Potara fusion. Remember, it was the Elder Kai that revealed the technique of Potara fusion to Shin and Kibito Kai. He didn't even have knowledge about it.
The Elder Kai also got the time limit wrong, but go ahead, continue.
Okay, right? So if you're going to use a statement from a character and say, okay, well, that statement from that character proves, or it is the launching pad for the conclusion that Beerus, the character in question, has been surpassed by Vegito Blue, The problem with that is I can have a counterpoint showing that, well, in regards to another idea, which is Kaioshin knowledgeable about things? I just showed an example of which he wasn't knowledgeable about. So if he's not even knowledgeable about his role as a Supreme Kai,
what other time? Yeah. So, well, in the manga, Shin is not the same as like his anime counterpart. In the anime, he's like blatantly retarded. Like he's borderline actually retarded, right? So that's we can agree to that. Shin in the manga operates a lot differently, though. When has he ever been wrong about Beerus's power? Can you give me that? Can you show me a statement to when that's the case, where he's been wrong about Beerus's power? Nope, the manga.
I would argue that his statement about Beerus' strength in the manga and that scene with Vegeta Blue is wrong because he was wrong about other things.
You can't say it's wrong. You cannot say it's wrong unless you have evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. Here's why. You can say that you don't believe it, and you can give your reasons for not believing it, but you cannot say that it's wrong. You cannot say it's wrong.
Who shared a longer relationship with Beerus? Elder Kai or Supreme Kai Shin?
Irrelevant. That's not relevant at all.
That is relevant because the character changes throughout time.
They're life linked though.
Shin and Beerus right now are currently life linked. They weren't before.
Yes. In the Battle of Gods arc, they're life linked. That's when Beerus comes through, and Shin is he's well aware as to who Beerus is.
And the same claim could be made about Elder Kai being well aware of Beerus.
Yeah, of course, Elder Kai knows who he is, but that doesn't change anything.
Who do you think is more knowledgeable about Beerus, Elder Kai or Supreme Kai? Shin. Who do you think has more knowledge about Beerus?
It's not really relevant, but for the sake of discussion, I'd say Elder Kai would know Beerus longer. Okay. He's known him longer, yeah.
Now, if a statement was made by, say, Whis, then that would be a stronger argument because Whis is literally the guy who trained Beerus. And we know that Whis is stronger than Beerus because getting to the points I was going to make today, I was going to ask you about, again, what your definition of energy is in Dragon Ball, because that's a very important concept that I think I may have not elaborated on in our previous round.
Well, it sounds like you're going off a different point, right? So
it's an important point.
Yeah, so onto the Vegito point. The statement is made, right? And at bare minimum, we're meant to take it at some level of face value. Whether or not you think it's true doesn't matter. The point is you cannot prove that it's untrue either. That's the point. That's how evidence works. That's how burden of proof works.
There are different thresholds of evidence, empirically speaking. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I already went over them with you.
And you're trying to say that I can't apply any logic about that to this story.
No, you can say that. Okay, you can say that something is. You could say that you don't believe something to be the case, and this is why. Here's my evidence, right? But if the evidence is, Shin doesn't know about Portara, so he must be wrong about how strong Beerus is. Yeah, the two don't correlate unless you have something that shows where Shin has been wrong about how strong Beerus is. And that's why I asked you if you can provide a statement or some level of implication to suggest that Shin has been wrong about Beerus's power. That's why I specifically asked for that. You would have at least, to meet the minimum standard of evidence or burden of proof in this instance, you would have to provide some level of implication to where Shin has been wrong about Beerus and his strength. And he has not been wrong before because that's the only statement where he references his strength. So at minimum, you're meant to take it at least to some level of truth. Which makes the scenario, the preponderance of evidence, at least 60% or at least 51%, which is greater than 50%. And in that scenario, it's greater. So unless you have something to suggest otherwise, right, to make your preponderance of evidence greater than my preponderance of evidence based on the statement, then you cannot come on to this voice chat and say that Shin is wrong. He is blatantly wrong beyond reasonable doubt, right? Or he's just blatantly wrong. And then your evidence is he's been wrong. Okay, you said he's wrong. Okay, so if you're saying he's wrong, right, then that's what I'm saying. You would need to provide something. You need to provide evidence. Okay, can you? What's your evidence? Potara fusion?
Not just Potara fusion, just his roles and duties as a god.
Okay, so what? How does that make a statement?
I gave you the example of how if you're going to say that a statement made by a character gives weight or credence to something that they're that's the object in question, which is what Beerus scales to another character. Well, if I can give you a example of a character who has a longer relationship with another character, that same character in question, would it not be fair to say that person has more knowledge about that person, which is the Elder Kai?
But that's not. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because he's not there at the event anyway, right? And it's not. And what you're suggesting now is that the Elder Kai would disagree with Shin. Can you prove that? Do you have any evidence for that?
With statements made in the canon currently? No.
You have any? Okay, so then there you go then. So you haven't met the preponderance of evidence, which is the lowest standard of evidence. What's your next argument?
So, like I just said, I was going to ask you what your definition of energy is in Dragon Ball. Specifically, what's your definition of ki?
I know Akira Toriyama, there was an old interview where he kind of goes over like the components of ki, but I'll just translate it to like, like life energy, things of that nature. Like,
yes, life energy. That's specifically what he said in that old interview, the same interview when he talked about how he got inspiration for the Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he describes it as life energy.
From his wife, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's your point?
He describes it as life energy, right? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
I just said it's life energy. Go ahead.
Okay. So if it's life energy, can I not talk about life energy in its relation to energy? Because life energy is it's basically. No, I'm trying to build back to my original point that I had mentioned yesterday, which was
don't cut him off. Go ahead. AD, go ahead. Don't worry about them. Go ahead. What's your argument?
Okay, so if you agree that what Kurotarma said, which was that ki is life energy, is it not fair to say that because he said that it is life energy, that I can say that it functions like energy, which it already exists in the story, because we've already established that there's basic physics in the story. We know that energy exists in Dragon Ball because we see basic principles of energy displayed in Dragon Ball. Do you agree with that?
I'm sorry, explain. Can you make references to energy and Dragon? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Do your thing, man. Make your argument. I'm waiting for it.
Okay, so I remember yesterday you shared an image of Jiren with an aura around him, right? Lots of characters in Dragon Ball have an aura around them. What you would call that ki, because that's what characters in the source material through statements or visual representations would say, correct? Whis would make a statement that is ki, or they would say the statement that that is
sharing an image of Jiren. I don't recall sharing an image of Jiren yesterday. That might have been Taurus. That might have been Taurus. I don't know, but
point is, you can look at any character in Dragon Ball and they have an aura around them. Would you agree with that? Okay.
Sure.
Would you not say that that's energy?
Yeah, sure. It's their ki. It's their aura.
Okay. So you agree that there is this concept of energy in Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Okay. And
kind of like how Shin is able to deduce that Vegito may have surpassed Beerus already, huh? Because of the energy, because of the aura. But go ahead.
Okay. So when I was talking to you yesterday about, my argument was 3 parts, how the paradigm was shifting from raw strength and brute force to techniques which grant either an increase in power or of that nature, right? And then you had tried to refute that point by saying, oh, well, this character did this, but that was the first premise which you had tackled. And then the second point that was an extension of that was ki control and how important that is in a battle, right? You had mentioned that you had gave me the example of, I believe it was,
I gave you like 4 different examples.
You gave me 4 examples. I had asked you a simple question. I said, I gave you the example of Hit, right? I had told you that Hit in the Dragon Ball Super manga when he fought Vegeta and Goku.
Vegeta. And then I used an example. And then I used an example from within that fight to showcase why it wasn't really relevant, right? Why the technique Toki Tabaki wasn't really relevant. Toki Tabashi, some shit like that.
Goku and Vegeta, they were stronger than Hit in every form that Hit had because Goku and Vegeta have more ki. Goku and Vegeta have more ki than Hit.
That's not correct.
Do you agree with that?
It's not correct at all. Not correct at all. Goku in his God form is stronger than Vegeta in his blue form. I gave you the scan for that yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goku and Vegeta. You said Vegeta. You said Goku is stronger in his God form than Vegeta in his
blue form.
In his blue form. Yeah, because they're 2 different characters with 2 different bases. They have 2 different levels of ki.
Did you read the scan? Did you read the scan? It's explained why Goku was stronger than Vegeta in that instance, in that fight. Did you read the scan or no? Because I gave it to you as evidence.
Is the scan in the general chat right now?
I assume you didn't read it. I'll just send it again. See, man, I give you scans for like a reason, right? And then you don't read them, and then you want me to like listen to your long ass script. So it's like
I'm not using the script right now. I'm just going.
Oh, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Like you want me to listen to all your points, right? But you won't listen to what people are telling you or what people are giving you. Anyway, I'll post it again, general chat. So Vegeta wasn't able to perform even at 10% of its strength because at that time, Super Saiyan Blue wasn't something they can, just employ constantly. So God Goku was stronger than Blue Vegeta, and he's able to overcome hits time skip just in his God form. Yeah.
Because of ki control.
Is that your argument?
The form was not mastered, correct?
Oh, the form wasn't mastered. Okay, go ahead. So continue your point now.
I think in the yesterday's debate I gave you the how the principle in Dragon Ball Z, they had you unlock Goku and the Z fighters that were Saiyans unlock Super Saiyan, and then to combat the androids in Cell, they learn how to master their Super Saiyan form, keep it at full power, right, to reduce the strain on their body and to keep their power from leaking out. That same principle was employed in Dragon Ball Super once they learned how to use Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. And the manga specifically, when they learned Super Saiyan Blue, they then had to learn how to perfect or master Super Saiyan Blue, and then we have Super Mastered or Perfected, where they're able to use it at full power without a loss of energy in the form of radiation, such as heat and light. Do you agree with that?
Well, when Goku first does it, he's actually it is actually taking a toll on his body. So even though he's mastered, he's still getting weaker. But continue.
Well, yes, because the Super Saiyan Blue Mastered, which is where they are able to use their full strength without any strain on their body. Let's just say it's 99% efficiency. Because what I was trying to say, which is why I entire hour-long tangent about how UI functions different from the Saiyan transformations, I specifically mentioned the Lebit effect. I don't know if you heard that, because I don't know if that's when you left the debate, but I had gone on a tangent explaining the mechanics of...
Yeah, so the reason I left was because I tackled your premise, right? The main point of your premise, the main points of your premises, right? So I'm not really obligated to listen to everything else after that, at least as far as a debate format is concerned, right? That's why I was asking you. If you just want to discuss stuff, then I'm down to hear what you have to say and we can talk about it. You can apply whatever you want to it. But as far as a debate goes, if I've met my burden or my obligation of attacking your premise, then I don't have to stay and listen to another hour and a half of stuff that you've written down. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was telling you that's why I was saying yesterday, with all due respect, there's no point in dragging out the shit. If we're going to keep debating, then I'm not going to keep doing it. If we're going to discuss things, then I'm down to listen. So I'm going to ask you, is the premise similar to yesterday in the sense where it's Beerus has better ki control, right? And that is what makes his Hakai comparable to UI. Is that the idea? Is that an accurate representation? Well, I just need to know it so I can attack it.
Is part of what I'm saying. But again, I need to explain a couple things before I get to that, because you're going to immediately try to dismiss it with probably the same argument as you used last time.
No, I have a plethora of other arguments that I can use. That's why I'd rather just wrap it up. But going
back to the Toriyama interview about how ki is energy, or
which
ki is a form of energy. The interview with the inspiration for the Kamehameha.
Okay, that one. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right. And that I think was the next heading where they say, how do you get stronger? How do you power up? In Toriyama's own words, he says two things: you either have more ki, or you have a better mastery of ki. Two principles: have more ki, or be able to use it better. Be able to use ki better, right? Ki proficiency, ki control.
Have more ki or use ki better. Is that from the same interview, or is that a separate one?
That was from that same interview.
Okay, go ahead.
I posted,
okay,
yeah. So
you posted it? Where'd you post it? I didn't see anything.
It's not in the general chat right now. Let me post it again.
Okay, go ahead. Make your argument.
So in Toriyama's own words, there are two ways to get stronger. There are two ways to measure your power in Dragon Ball. You either have more ki, which you can use synonymously as raw strength, or you have a control over that ki, which is the ki proficiency, ki control angle of the argument that I was making yesterday.
So you're misrepresenting him already. He argues for both.
Two things.
Yeah, so you can't say or.
It's not one or the other.
It's not one or the other. No, absolutely not. You cannot say one or the other if you're saying both are important. You cannot say one or the other if they're both important. You can't do that.
They're both important. I would agree, yes, but they are two different things.
Sure, but you cannot say one or the other. He never said one or the other. He says the size of your ki and your control over it, not or your control over it.
Those are two important concepts that you need to be stronger, as stated in that segment of the interview. Do you agree with that? that came from Toriyama's own mind. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with the way you said it because that's not what he said. But if it's the size of your ki and your control over that size of ki, then sure.
Yes, that is what I'm agreeing to. Do you agree with that?
Okay, yeah, then go ahead, make your argument.
So, let's have an example of Jiren. Jiren, like I told you yesterday, was an example of a character in Dragon Ball Z based off the paradigm of just brute force or raw strength. Raw strength being how much ki you have. Do you agree with that so far?
That Jiren is the what?
Jiren is a mortal who has a large. He has a large amount of ki. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
He represents the paradigm of brute power, like you had tried to claim was superior to techniques. Do you agree with that? Jiren has more ki. Jiren has more ki prior to Goku using UI.
He's very strong. Yes, he's very strong. Yeah, go ahead.
Very strong, and based off this interview that I just gave you, there are two ways of being strong: having a lot of ki and having control over it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when I made the argument yesterday about how I believe ki control is a part that helps, it is a component that helps you win a battle against someone who may have a larger sum of energy, a larger sum of ki. I believe you gave me the example of Planet Moro, right? You said you gave me the example of Planet Moro, a guy who used the 7-3 ability to have gotten Beerus, his angelic powers. We know that the logic of 7-3 is that it copies the power. It copies the power and current strength of the said character that touches it, right? So when he touched Beerus, he copied Beerus exactly as he was. Do you agree with that?
No, he doesn't copy you. He doesn't copy you at your current strength. He copies you in totality. But go ahead, continue.
Which would be your current strength?
It depends. If you're trying to say current strength like base Beerus,
he copied the sum of every. He copied the sum of. He copied the totality of Beerus.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah.
So, so he copied the totality of Beerus, so he has all his abilities and he has all his ki. Do you agree with that? He used he used 7-3's copying ability, which is a technique. He used 7-3's copying ability, which is a technique, to copy Beerus's the totality of Beerus's power scheme, right? That all his techniques and all his ki, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes, he copied Beerus.
Okay.
That's 3 times your strength. Good.
Okay, so but before all that, let me explain one thing. Do you agree at the beginning of the Moro arc, Old Man Moro is weaker than Goku and Vegeta and their Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue states? I need to make sure.
Old Moro is weaker than Blue Goku and Vegeta. Yes.
Okay, so what that means is if you agree that Old Man Moro is weaker than Super Saiyan Blue, Goku and Vegeta, and probably also Super Saiyan God, Goku and Vegeta, but let's just say for the sake of the argument, Super Saiyan Blue, Goku and Vegeta, they clap Moro's cheeks, his old man form, the first iteration of him, right?
Yeah.
So what does Moro have to do to be able to defeat them, to be stronger than them? He uses his Hacks ability, which is a technique. He uses his energy siphoning ability, which is a technique. And what does that do? What are the mechanics of that? The logic of that is that it absorbs the energy around the characters and the environment, living or not living. Or sorry, living. Let me make that clear. Living. It absorbs all the living energy of the objects around it. Do you agree with that? Okay. So he does that. It's an area of effect. He's doing it. Goku and Vegeta don't know. They're not aware of it until they start getting dropped out of their forms. And Moro absorbs that energy. He absorbs that ki. He absorbs that ki, adds it to his own base. We know that his base is lower than the base of Goku and Vegeta. So he absorbs that energy. He gets stronger as a result of gaining more ki. Do you agree with that so far?
Yes.
Okay. Right. And then eventually he becomes rejuvenated, and he becomes the full power Moro that we see prior to his fusion with 7-3. right? And at that point, when he becomes the full power Moro, full power youthful Moro, whatever you want to call it, full power Moro, he is stronger than Goku, Vegeta, and their Super Saiyan Blue forms. He then 2 months pass between the events of that fight on Namek, right? 2 months pass. Goku goes to Yardrat to train. Goku goes and trains with Beerus, right? Goku and Vegeta presumably get strong.
We only hold on, no. We only see youthful Moro one time. So what are you talking about? Which Moro are you talking about? Are you talking about Goatee Moro?
Right after the events of Namek, Moro he has a small goatee, right?
Okay.
I remember he's on the ship. He's talking with Sagamo about planets to harvest in preparation for going to Earth.
Right.
And
okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Right. Okay, so then in that time, there's a 2 month time lapse, and in that process, he is continuously absorbing planets, doing the same thing, absorbing energy, absorbing ki, adding it to his base. He's getting stronger by adding more ki to his base. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Eventually, when he gets to Earth, he is that youthful Moro without the beard, completely young, completely muscular, and we know that he is stronger than UI Omen Goku. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so UI Omen Goku, after his training with Beerus, gets clapped, right? And then Vegeta shows up with his spirit control, a technique he learned. He learns Force Spirit Fission, right?
Right.
And what do we know about that Force Spirit Fission Vegeta that fought against Full Power Moro? Force Spirit Fission Vegeta, which was in the Super Saiyan Blue evolution form, was not stronger than Moro. He was not stronger than Moro. Moro had more ki than Vegeta in that state had. Do you agree?
Moro was stronger than Vegeta, yes.
Okay, so Vegeta uses a technique, the Force Spirit Fission, which the way it operates is by siphoning away energy, spirit. All right, the same. It's essentially a counter to Moro's siphoning ability. Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so Moro he does take injuries because you can still take injury even if you're stronger than somebody, right? He's taking hits, and then because he's taking hits, he's losing his energy. He's using all that energy he obtained from Goku and Vegeta, from all the creatures he may have killed, and from the planets that he absorbed. Do you agree with that? Okay, so Moro reverts back to his. He has a small goatee, then he gets a larger goatee, right? And then at that point, he is actually weaker, just like how he was initially when he fought Goku and Vegeta on Namek, New Namek. Do you agree with that?
That Moro should still be stronger technically, but yeah, go ahead. Typically, he did get weaker.
Okay, yeah, he was weaker to the point where Vegeta could finish him off. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so what did Moro have to do? Well, we know prior to that fight, Moro had a backup plan, correct? That backup plan being that 7-3 was going to be the key to winning this fight. What is special about 7-3? 7-3 is an android, specifically an alien android. Do you agree?
Yes, he's an android.
Okay.
Yes.
Regardless of, would you agree that 7-3, base 7-3, OG 7-3, would you agree that base OG 7-3 is weaker than Goku and Vegeta in terms of ki? Okay, right. So what does base 7-3 have to do in order to get stronger than characters that he's fighting against, whether it be Piccolo, Gohan, and the other Z fighters that he fought? He uses his technique to copy their abilities, and as you already stated, the logic of how that works is that it absorbs the totality of that person's abilities and ki, their energy, their level of power.
Right.
All right. So he does that, right? 7-3 gets all that added power, and he can only keep it for, I believe it was 30 minutes, but he can swap between different abilities.
Yeah.
Barring that, he has that ability. So Moro decides to use his magic, presumably. It could be a technique, but he uses some technique or magic that allows him to fuse, and by doing that, he consumes 7-3. He consumes 7-3, and then what happens? He achieves a new form, right? Obviously, that could just be a stylistic representation that Toyotaru just came up with, right? I don't think he actually had to physically change, but he eats 7-3, gets a new form, a new body, and he gets 7-3, he gets all of the power that 7-3 had. He added all of the base ki that 7-3 had to his base. Moro's current base, which is now weaker than Vegeta and Omen, or weaker than Vegeta in his current state and Goku in his current state. So Moro.
Wait. Repeat that.
Moro fuses with 7-3. 7-3. We know he got beat. And after 30 minutes he loses some of those powers. But he fuses with 7-3, and he absorbs all of 7-3's ki, and he obtains the technique that 7-3 has, which is the copying ability. Correct?
Yeah. Well, he eats 7-3, and he gains whatever he had as a backup. So basically, Moro.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. The thing
Moro, and Piccolo, as far as I remember. Yeah. Go ahead.
But what was special is that he 7-3 had copied Moro's abilities, and it was before their battle. 7-3 had a copy of full power youthful Moro, or just full power Moro, right? So that Moro, who was already stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta with the Spirit Fission technique, and he was also stronger than Omen Goku after his training with Beerus. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so 7-3 had a copy of that, and Moro just ate 7-3, so now he has a copy of his own powers that he just had. So now you have Old Man Moro, or the Moro that was just defeated by Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta, who we can agree is weaker than that Vegeta at that point, because Vegeta said that he was going to kill him, meaning that he can beat him. So you have Old Man Moro, plus 7-3, plus Moro's original powers, which was full power Moro. You have all that power, all that ki now added to this Moro 7-3 fusion. So then you have that fusion of Moro 7-3, who claps Vegeta very quickly, claps the rest of the Z-Fighters, including the androids, and then claps Goku again, and then fights Beerus. And Beerus, again, he wasn't Beerus up into the last part before he disappeared. He was fighting Suppress. Because we know the moment angels decide to go full power, they get erased. And we know, based off that chapter, the last chapter of the Moro arc, that the Grand Priest quickly did whatever he did to erase Beerus quickly. So again, we don't know, scaling wise, if that last hit that Beerus is about to do on Moro 7-3, if that was him at his full power. We don't know that. Yes, because I'm trying to explain to you how technique is very important, which was the point that you dismissed.
Yeah, but correct? you gotta tell me how this pertains to Beerus, though.
Okay, so
because all the techniques you referenced have nothing to do with ki control, but continue.
What made Moro more powerful?
Right,
What made Moro more powerful than all the characters he fought against? What made Moro more powerful than all the characters he fought against?
His technique.
And what did I just say? Was in my first premise.
Where does ki control come into this? But go ahead, continue.
Okay, so like I have just stated I showed you the Toriyama interview about how to get stronger. You have more ki and more control over your ki. That's exactly how it was stated. That's what you agreed to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I just gave you this whole synopsis of Moro and 7-3's character, and how Moro, to defeat Vegeta and Goku and the Z-Fighters, he was weaker in terms of ki, in terms of raw strength. He was weaker than the characters that he faced, and he had to use his energy siphoning ability, which is a technique, and then he had to use his magic, presumably, to fuse with 7-3, also another technique. And 7-3, the reason why he was so special is, again, a technique which allows him to copy the totality of another character, which includes their raw strength and all their techniques that they learn. So that entire arc was about how technique is superior to strength. Would you not agree with that?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Why?
No, because Moro eating 7-3 made 7-3's copy ability stronger.
How do you quantify that? How do you even qualify that?
Because when Moro eats 7-3, he doesn't have the time limit, for example. That's one. And Moro's body is stronger than 7-3's body, which means he can take more and endure more than 7-3.
But is there any statements that can suggest that?
Yeah, it's stated in the manga. And a part of the synopsis you gave me, it's stated in between that synopsis that you just gave me.
We know that Moro when he ate 7-3 and fused them, that his copying abilities were better. He didn't have the time limit.
Is that not what I just stated?
The power
is that
was
not
his
what
forever.
I just stated? And then you asked me if it's stated, and then you know it's stated, and you're stating it anyway.
You were saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were saying that Moro could do the copying ability better than 7-3 could. Correct?
Moro's, he made the copy ability stronger and greater.
Stronger may not be the correct term. He was able to improve the technique.
Not? A strength. If you don't have a time limit, that's a blatant strength of superiority versus 7-3. Why not? Why can't I use that term?
Because of the outline of strength as I outlined with the Toriyama.
Because it does. Because you don't agree with it. Because you don't agree with it. Is Moro 7-3's copy ability not stronger than 7-3's copy ability?
Stronger, right. But stronger is not the correct word I would use, though.
You don't have to use it. I can use it.
I mean, you can make the statement that it's
different
better.
Than me saying greater.
You can make the statement that it's better qualitatively.
Okay. You know Granola, right?
But you don't have any quantitative.
Hold on. You know Granola the Survivor? The Japanese text, talks about him being the strongest the warrior in the universe, or the strongest warrior in the universe will soon be born, and all this other shit. But in English, they constantly translate it to the greatest warrior in the universe will be born, or something like that, right? So I can use the term strength and not have to refer to raw power, but something that's stronger doesn't have to be inherently strong in terms of raw strength or power. I could think of you as a strong person. I don't have to refer to you as your physical strength. So again, it doesn't. I think you're nitpicking the word. It's no different than me saying Moro 7-3's copy ability is better or greater than 7-3's copy ability. I can say stronger. I think you're kind of just cherry picking at this point. Either way, we agree though. We'd have to agree that Moro 7-3's copy ability is greater or stronger than 7-3's copy ability. For two reasons.
I would say that he improved the technique, but how he improved the technique, we don't know. That's the point.
One, because he doesn't have a time limit. Right, so that's a blatant improvement right there.
It's a statement.
And two, Moro's body is stronger than 7-3's body.
Moro's body is stronger because his pool. Moro is stronger than 7-3. Would you not? Or Moro is stronger than the android 7-3.
Okay, so the copy ability would be better for him because he could copy people a lot stronger than himself and use their power, right? Than 7-3. There's no evidence to suggest
but it's not because of strength.
Can copy Uiom and Goku, and then his body wouldn't just like fucking implode from the power, right? So that's why I'm saying that. So it's a logical deduction to make. It's a logical inference to make. Like you're trying to make an argument of control and techniques and all this other stuff, right? And a lot of this stuff are logical inferences that you created for yourself, though they are not explicitly stated in the source material, right? But you're using a logical inference to create a consistent argument, are you not? That's what you're doing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be a logical inference for me to say that Moro 7-3, right? His copy ability is stronger than 7-3's copy ability for those two reasons. One, because it's stated that he has no time limit, and two, because Moro is obviously stronger. Right? That's a logical inference to make. I don't see the issue with that.
Okay, but based off my first premise, which was that the paradigm of Dragon Ball is shifting away from techniques instead of raw power, do you now see why I said that?
No, I understand why you're saying it. Okay, but none of this has to do with none of it really has to do with control. If what you're trying to argue is that Moro, in order to copy these people, would have to have some level of key control in order to be this strong, that's a different argument altogether. Right? In my opinion, I think that's how you should be arguing it. But again, I'd like for you to get to the point of like Beerus. I understand you're building an argument from a separate technique, and then you're trying to say, well, this is how Beerus could use Hakai to rival Ultra Instinct, if not be greater than it. But your stance is not that Beerus is rivaling it or something like that. Your stance is that your premise is that he's greater than all of the above. That's the issue. That is
not my premise.
I asked you what it was, and that's what you said.
I told you that Beerus has better key control. I think that's what I said in the previous debate that we had, that he had better key control than Goku did. Correct? I think someone can fact
Yeah,
check me on that.
but I had asked you if the idea is that Beerus over everybody. You said yeah, and you're going to explain why. You're going to go over yesterday's arguments from some of the arguments you had with Taurus to build an argument as to why that is the case.
All right, which I'm slowly
What you're doing,
moving
you're slowly
up there.
doing, really slowly. But I need you. But I need.
I told you, you guys need a moderator, bro.
Well, I mean, I'm debating you, so it's like. No, it's, again, I need you to get to like the Beerus stuff. How does this tie into like your
All right,
argument?
let me ask you. Let me just recap. I asked you what you thought energy was, right? I get you correctly said based on what Toriyama said that it was life energy, right?
Yeah.
I asked you. Well, I insinuated that okay. Well, if it's a life energy, I can then describe the properties of life energy with the concept of energy because we already know that energy exists in Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then I gave you a example of how I gave you the Moro arc example of how technique.
JD, you don't have to recap.
All right. I just want to make sure. There's a lot of shit. So, all right. So based off the definition of power as stated by Toriyama, which was, having more ki and having a control over it, right? I'm going to ask you, is Super Saiyan Blue Goku Mastered more powerful than Super Saiyan Blue Goku? Simple question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So if
it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter unless you're comparing two different. No, it doesn't. Unless you're comparing two perfect Super Saiyan Blues, then it doesn't matter. But you're saying perfect Super Saiyan Blue versus Super Saiyan Blue. Perfect is stronger. Yeah, no problem.
Stronger. Now now why? Why is it stronger?
Because it's perfected. You can utilize 100% of its power 100% of the time.
But they have the same base ki. They have the same raw amount of ki, correct?
Well,
nothing about the form is different other than that one has a mastery of the ki in that form. Would you agree with that?
No, one Goku is stronger than the prior one too.
Nice no, that's why I'm saying the same arc. I'm okay. When Goku learns Super Saiyan Blue Goku,
the Goku that defuses from Vegito is stronger than the Goku that got his ass whooped.
Barring Zenkai and barring training.
What do you mean barring Zenkai?
Because that changes everything.
Of course, it changes everything, but you need to build a consistent argument. If your argument is control, you need, and if the person who's performing this feat is a Saiyan, then you need to build a consistent argument based on their genetic traits. That's what they do.
I gave you the definition of power as stated by Toriyama, right? More ki or better control over it, better control. All right. Fine. So then I gave you two forms, right? Which we've seen the same principle of ki control. That was done in Z. You gave me examples. I gave you examples. Right. So now I'm giving you an example of a form in Super Dragon Ball, a Super Saiyan Blue Goku from let's just say Merge Zamasu arc in the manga, Super Saiyan Blue Goku and the Merge Zamasu arc, and then I give you the same example from that same arc, Super Saiyan Blue Master Goku. They're the same form, Super Saiyan Blue Goku. What is different about those two forms?
The Goku that fights MZ with perfected Super Saiyan Blue is stronger than the one that fights him before Vegito.
Okay, well, a fusion happened which changed things.
Okay, so then you agree to my. Then you agree with me.
I'm asking you to take the character, the power scheme of Super Saiyan Blue Goku not mastered, and then the power scheme of Super Saiyan Blue Goku mastered. Right, the same character from the same arc, barring Zenkai, barring training,
No, why would I do that? Why would I bar
because
that?
I'm trying.
Anyway,
we don't have to understand the concept of power.
We don't. That doesn't matter. Then it needs to be consistent. I don't have to agree with an argument that's not consistent at all. It's not. Because MSSB Goku is stronger. The Goku that performs MSSB, that masters it, is stronger than the one.
It's stronger. Yes. Why? That's what I'm trying to make you realize. Why?
Because Saiyans get stronger mid-battle.
No, that's Zenkai. That's another variable. I'm asking.
No, Zenkai is after. Zenkai is like post-fight or something like that. Near-death experience, things of that nature. Zenkai's work differently.
If I have two different clones of Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Goku unmastered, Super Saiyan Blue Goku mastered from the same arc. No events in between. Just that I clone a character, Goku. I clone the same character, but he has the mastered form. They're the same form, Super Saiyan Blue. They have the same base ki. There's no Zenkai, there's no training, there's no fusion, there's nothing to happen in between the two. They're the same character. One has the mastered form, one doesn't have the mastered form. Why is Super Saiyan Blue mastered more powerful than the other form?
Because one is mastered and one isn't.
Okay, and what is that process that I'm trying to make you realize? Ki control. Ki control. The second part of what Toriyama was saying.
Okay.
Okay, do you agree with that? Is that what you're saying, or just go on with the argument?
I don't agree with the hypothetical, but I understand what you're saying.
It's a thought experiment based off stated
Because
facts by
you're
Toriyama.
ignoring, because what you notice how a lot of your arguments, right, are they stem from the source material, and then they take it a step further because you're building an argument from the source material based off of, or that's founded off of, a statement that Akira Toriyama makes. And then to bring it all together, you create this hypothetical scenario that doesn't happen.
Well, I
Right?
haven't got. I'm giving you an example before I actually get into how key control is important.
So far, that would be my only criticism of your argument so far.
I'm just trying to understand your logic of why you stated the correct thing. Master Super Saiyan Blue Goku from that same iteration that I'm talking. So he gets the form, and then I'm giving you the same Goku. No training, no in between. So, it's the same Goku.
Here's why I'm not a fan of your hypothetical scenario. Why doesn't Goku just master it before?
Why doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, that gets into the spiritual aspect of what ki is, which I'm not arguing right now.
Why not? That's why you created a hypothetical scenario, because you knew it wouldn't really match up. So why doesn't just Goku master Super Saiyan Blue when he's fighting MZ in the beginning?
It's probably for the same reason why he didn't master Super Saiyan when he first unlocked Super Saiyan against Frieza.
What reason with that? What reason with that? Well, because what? Key control?
Key control. If you just unlock a form, do you understand the mechanics of that form?
No, please, teach me. Tell me. What's the mechanics of the form? How did Goku get Super Saiyan?
The mechanism to achieve Super Saiyan is based on the S cell stuff, right? Having a more amount of.
Hold on. At the time of Z, right? At the time of Z, how did Goku? There was a prerequisite for Super Saiyan.
You had to have a base level of power.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now continue your argument. Continue your point.
No, I'm trying to understand why is that important to what I just said though.
You invoked Frieza versus the Namek Saga Goku. I didn't. I'm just telling you, two totally different scenarios.
You were asking me. I brought up the example of you asked me why didn't Goku just have mastered Super Saiyan when he fought Frieza?
No, I asked you why he didn't master Super Saiyan Blue fighting MZ. You didn't want to answer it.
I'm sorry. You're right. And then I gave you the example of it's probably for the same reason why he didn't master Super Saiyan in the Namek arc against Frieza.
But it's not for the same reason. It can't be for the same reason, because that would contradict your argument completely. Because your argument is that key control is what's required. But in Z, you have to have, like you said, a base level of power. In this instance, it's just key control. He has Super Saiyan already. Right, it's just key control. Why didn't he do it?
And the guidebooks for Saiyan transformations. Yes, it stated that you needed a base level of key or power.
Right, so you can't argue key control, right? For fucking Namek Saga Goku. No, you cannot argue key control for Namek Saga Goku if the biggest prerequisite is a base level of power. In this instance, versus MZ, why didn't he just master it right away if all you need is key control? Why didn't he just master Super Saiyan Blue if all you needed was key control? Why? Because he wasn't strong enough. Because the first prerequisite that comes for mastering a form or stepping into the next level of power is power. You need a specific power. You have to be strong enough to endure it, to use it.
For the Saiyan transformation, for the Super Saiyan 1 through 3, for Super Saiyan 1, we know that you need a base level of power. The rest of the forms, we don't know, because I don't believe there's been any empirical statements.
But all of these forms stem off of Super Saiyan, though.
But there's two different keys that are being employed, though. We don't know. I told you the God key. We have no mechanics of God key other than that we know it's a higher form of key. That's all we know.
It's just Super Saiyan on top of it. It's just Super Saiyan on top of it.
But it's a different kind of key. There's two different kinds of energy. Right? So if you have two different kinds of energy, and we know that ki and Dragon Ball there's a spiritual aspect of it because it's based off the Chinese medieval concept of energy, chi, CHI or QI, right? That's it's
a simple question. It's a simple question, right? Goku masters Super Saiyan Blue. It is. Goku masters Super Saiyan Blue after being Vegito, and he gets healed. Okay, Trunks heals him. All right. Prior to that, why doesn't he master Super Saiyan Blue? Because he wasn't strong enough, huh?
I don't think it's fair to say that he wasn't strong.
Why not? What other logical inference can you make?
Because that form is not because what is the definition of Master Super Saiyan is that it's using 100% of Super Saiyan of that
100%
form.
of what? 100% of what? 100% of what?
Of his ki.
Of his power?
Of his ki. Of his power.
Of his ki? Oh, okay, so good. So meaning Goku wasn't strong enough prior to that, huh?
No, but it's not about I'm strong enough, so now I can use all that ki. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Why not? So then why didn't he just master it prior to that? Come on, JD, you're trapping yourself here, buddy.
I'm not trapping myself.
If it's not about how strong you are, what is it about? Is it about ki control? It has to be, right? That's the only.
I just said that ki has a spiritual aspect of it.
Okay, so why couldn't Goku just?
It's why things go on.
So why couldn't a weaker Goku, right, just get his ki control and just control his ki and get his shit together and master Super Saiyan Blue?
But that's the thing. You're using the word weaker. Super Saiyan Blue Master. It's not about whether one's weaker or not.
Because Goku became strong enough to endure that power.
Are you saying his physical body was honed to where the strain would allow him to wield that power at 100% efficiency? Yeah. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
No.
Because Goku got stronger mid-fight, like Saiyans do. It's part of their genetics.
No, it's not about getting stronger. That's what I'm trying to. You're using the word stronger to make the distinction between.
JP? Explain to the chat what it is about. Because your argument is ki control, okay? So you'd have to argue in favor of that.
You have Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Again, I'm cloning the exact same copy of Goku. You have Super Saiyan Blue Goku. I'm copying that Goku, but he has the mastered form. I'm giving him ki control. I'm giving him ki control. I'm giving him ki control.
I gave you about an hour, right, to spur on about your argument, right? Now, and I let you talk about it, okay? Now, at this point, I blatantly disagree because you're creating a hypothetical scenario to suit your narrative, which I don't agree with. And the reason you're doing that is because you don't want to answer the question. Because the concept of ki control is not consistent with a weaker Goku mastering Super Saiyan Blue. It's not consistent at all.
Okay, so in the comments earlier today, I gave you the light bulb example, correct?
Can you answer the question? Are you going to answer the question or no?
No, I'm gonna answer the question by analogy.
No.
Is that okay?
It's a simple answer, dude.
No, because the principle of what I'm talking about is in the analogy.
Go ahead.
You have a light bulb, right, which has a fixed amount of energy. The question is how does it radiate it? We have a light bulb. It radiates energy in the form of heat and light. You agree with that, right? That's a basic understanding of a light bulb. You don't need it's an intuitive understanding. You don't need to know anything about the math or equations. You have a light bulb, fixed amount of energy, right? And
what's the lifespan? What's the lifespan of this light bulb?
I'm not arguing about how long.
No, I'm asking you a question. It's based off. If I'm gonna give you the respect, right, to go and play along with your analogy, you need to answer a basic question. What's the lifespan of that light bulb? Because that depends on how efficient it is, whether or not it can operate at 100% all of the time. What's the lifespan? Because we know light bulbs get weaker over time before they fail. So what's the lifespan? Otherwise, I'm not listening to the analogy.
But why did they get weaker over time?
Because they get weaker over time.
No, you just restated what I told you. That's not an argument.
It doesn't have to be an argument. It's your analogy. It just needs to make sense.
There's a logic in everything that's employed. That's not. But barring that, you just
this light bulb gets weaker over time the longer you use it, huh? It's kind of like Goku. It's kind of like the weaker Goku not being able to master ki control right away, right? Do you see how these two things don't correlate? This is why you don't want to answer the question. So are you going to answer the question or not?
Can I finish outlining the analogy?
No, man. I'm not going to give you that then, because you're not. See, now you're trying to rat away from the point.
I'm not because why else would I waste my time talking?
No, absolutely not. Exactly, because I feel like my time is being wasted now. You don't want to address a simple point. Why didn't Goku just master Super Saiyan Blue at that point in time?
Because you're not understanding the idea of ki, which is life energy, which is based off the idea of energy.
Okay, so he got stronger, huh? Life energy. His ki got bigger. Did his ki get bigger?
No.
Did his body get stronger?
That's not what I'm insinuating.
Why not?
Do you understand the idea of ki is a very complicated thing?
If he masters the form and gets stronger, how is it that his ki is not getting stronger? How is it that he's not gotten stronger? if it's all
the
key
wrong
control,
words to describe the effect of what you're already observing.
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think so because Dragon Ball Goku clearly gets stronger after fusing as Vegito. That Goku is a lot stronger.
You're inserting another variable, which is that he fused and then
it's not a variable. It's that it happened. It's an event that happened.
It's an event that happened. I'm giving you two different power schemes of the same character from the same arc.
No,
I'm not saying.
No. That's not what you're doing. That's not what you're doing. You're creating a hypothetical scenario. I'm giving you something that happened, right? I'm telling you this is why it happened. Goku was able to master it. Why? Because he got stronger.
It's not that he got stronger because his raw energy did not change. That's the problem.
Okay.
You think that his energy, the key in that form, changed. That's not what happened.
So what happened? Explain it to me.
I was trying to get to the idea that his key control is why that form is operating differently than the other form. Okay. You agree that it's more powerful. It's not more powerful because he has more ki. It's more powerful because, like Horiyama just stated, it's about how you control your ki.
You understand that my scenario of Goku mastering Super Saiyan Blue is more consistent with the Akira Toriyama's interview than yours is?
How? When I'm literally using the power scheme that Toriyama just stated.
No, because you're using a power scheme and you're using that power scheme and building a hypothetical scenario. I'm using that power scheme, right? And I'm giving you a direct event that happened from the source material.
Do you realize philosophers and theologians and logicians make arguments using thought experiments? Do you realize
they could?
But you might call it an analogy. You might call it.
You can create a theory. No problem. Hey, I'm not taking away.
It's still an ensemble of different ideas operating under different parameters.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. But this is a debate format. So far, I'm more consistent than you. I'm more consistent than you because I'm citing source material. You're not. You're creating a hypothetical.
I literally gave you an interview from Toriyama.
It doesn't matter. You can keep going in circles. Your argument is becoming circular.
Your logic. I'm trying to make you realize that you are correct in the effect. I'm trying to make you understand why it's not
Goku's ability. So Goku's ability to control ki got better. Is that what your argument is?
Yes, because that's why they have different transformations. That's why Super Saiyan, you get Super Saiyan, then you master it, then you have Super Saiyan, you have mastered Super Saiyan.
How did he do that? How was he suddenly able to do that?
Ki control, which is the second mechanism.
How was he suddenly able to do that?
Well, like I was trying to say,
that he couldn't do it before, right? Hold on. It implies that he couldn't do it before, correct? He couldn't do this before. He could do it after fusing as Vegito and getting healed by Trunks, right?
I'm not using the Vegito. I'm not using the Super Saiyan Blue. I just gave you the example of you asked me why didn't he do it before? You have Super Saiyan Goku, right? Then you have Master Super Saiyan Goku, right? Which happened in the Android saga. If I take that Super Saiyan Goku and I take Master Super Saiyan Goku, let me take the Super Saiyan Goku that was from the Namek saga, the unmastered, and give you Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Goku mastered. Those two
difference between
form, same
this
strength.
This is why I'm gonna cut you off, right? Because you're not answering me, right? You're trying to rat away from it again. Again, the difference between Namek Saga Goku and Android Saga Goku is that without Namek Saga Goku or a prerequisite level of power, there is no Super Saiyan. What is your next argument? You agreed to that, right? You did agree to that.
Because you're not.
Yes, you did. No, can the chat confirm that you agreed to that, please? This is bullshit. It's been like an hour, dude. I'm not doing
that there's a key prerequisite to the transformation.
Okay. All right, so there's okay, so it wasn't about power. So you didn't need a prerequisite of key control to obtain Super Saiyan, did you?
You don't know that for the other transformations. That's the problem. And that should already be obvious because you have a different kind of energy.
They all stem from Super Saiyan. So if you're trying to answer the question about MSSB Goku of the events that happened in the MZ arc, okay, why are you trying to answer that question with an analogy from the Android and Namek saga? If they're two totally different things.
Super Saiyan Goku, take the Namek Saga when he first unlocked the Super Saiyan, right? So from the Namek Saga up until the point where he mastered the form, take the example. Let me clone Goku, who has unmastered Super Saiyan. Let me clone him again, but give him Master Super Saiyan Goku. What's the difference between the two?
Master Super Saiyan Goku? Wait, is it Master Super Saiyan Goku versus Mastered Super Saiyan Blue Goku? Is that your analogy now?
No, no. Why would I compare Super Saiyan Goku to Master Super Saiyan Blue?
It sounded like you just said. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm retarded. Forgive me. It sounded like you just said that. Which Goku are you comparing?
Okay, so if I take Goku first unlock Super Saiyan, we understand that there's a power creep that you needed in order to achieve the transformation, right? We know that.
Okay.
We know the guide books would say that there's a key threshold that you need to meet to transform.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So I told you, let me take the idea of Goku, the unmastered Super Saiyan Goku. I know it came from the Namek arc. Let me take that character, the unmastered Super Saiyan Goku, right? Let me clone that same character, but give him the mastered form of Super Saiyan, right? I'm not referencing the Cell arc. I'm just saying I have unmastered Super Saiyan Goku and then now mastered Super Saiyan Goku. What's the difference between the two? You would probably agree that mastered Super Saiyan Goku is more powerful. Now the question is, why is he more powerful? Based off what Toriyama stated, it's because you either have more ki, which we know is not the case because of the same form, or it's ki control. How you control that ki. And that's why I brought the light bulb analogy because
what does that have to do with Super Saiyan Blue? What does that have to do with Super Saiyan Blue?
It's the same principles I'm employing. You have this idea of ki, a certain amount of ki.
No, they're not the same. No, they're not the same. They're not the same. Stop right there. Goku trained to do one thing, and this one he just did it in the middle of a fight. Why? Can you answer the question now?
For Super Saiyan Blue?
Yes.
Well, we know that Whis had been training Goku and Vegeta to learn to keep their ki from leaking from their body. That was the training. It's the same principle as how they learned to master their Super Saiyan forms from Z.
Okay, cool. Right. So why didn't he just do it in the beginning of the fight with MZ?
Because they're two different forms that have two different kinds of parameters on how they affect their bodies. I think people in the chat just said something about having a physical body. Someone mentioned that, right? Which is the strain on the body, right? Okay, but that gets into the problem of what I was just about to say. Well, ki is not ki, Ki, right? Ki that's in Dragon Ball, which we agree is the life energy, as Toriyama stated, right? It's a form of energy, right? Okay, but you have to realize that there's a spiritual aspect to ki, which is why I was trying to go off and explain that, because that's the part that's the part that I didn't get to, that I was going to use as my argument as to why that's what's happening in between Super Saiyan and Master Super Saiyan, and then Super Saiyan Blue, and then Master Super Saiyan Blue. There's an aspect of spiritualism that I'm trying to get to.
Okay, no, you're not trying to get to it. You're trying to gloss over the question by giving me some other comparison with light bulbs and Super Saiyan Goku from Namek and Android arcs. They're not the same. Especially if you've already acknowledged that the forms are different. Why? Why would I have to get rid of the arc?
Because if I tell you Namek Saga Goku and then Android Saga Goku, you think that they have different levels of ki.
No, you can't do that.
They're not the same characters because they have different levels of ki because their base is changed.
No. Here's the difference. You've already acknowledged that God ki is different. You've said that at least 4 to 5, 6 times in this debate alone.
Wait, someone's saying, why is he able to use 100% of his power at all times with Master Super Saiyan Blue, but can't with normal Super Saiyan Blue? Ki control, which is what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, no, you just argued that Whis was teaching them how to control their ki and all this other stuff, right? Thus giving birth to Super Saiyan.
Which is the same principle as the principle for these
so why couldn't he do it? Now I'm not going to ask why he didn't do it, right? I'm going to ask why couldn't he do it when he fought MZ the first time, right away? If that's all it took was just ki control, why not? Just answer the question, dude.
My argument would be the spiritual aspect of stuff, which I haven't explained. You would say that's not an argument, but that's the part I'm trying to explain.
You're not explaining it. You're actually not. You're sitting there and dodging.
I'm referencing what ki is in Dragon Ball, which we already know what ki is based on what Toriyama said.
No,
now I'm going to extend it.
No, that doesn't matter. That's not relevant to the question at all. If it's simply ki control, you need to argue in favor of it. Why can't you argue in favor of it in this instance?
Because ki has a spiritual aspect to it, so I have to acknowledge that part of the argument.
Okay, so why couldn't Goku do it if it's just a spiritual aspect? Did he have to get stronger? Did his spirit have to get stronger in order for him to? Can we agree to that? Did he have to get stronger? Huh? It seems like that's what you want to agree to, but you're trying to kind of nudge around it.
I'm not trying to agree to that because so you let me outline something, right? So you agreed that ki, as stated by Toriyama, is vital energy, right? You agree with that? Okay. All right. So you know that there's Gen ki, right? Which is health energy, right? How healthy you are, right? Yeah. Something that all sentient beings in the Dragon Ball verse have, right? That's that's the energy that's taken when they make a spirit bomb, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So then you also have God ki, which is something that celestial beings have, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Then you have the Hakai, which is a form of God ki, but barring that, you have that, right? UI has God ki, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
Right. And then there's an aspect of ki that I haven't touched on, which is the Kai thing, where the shouting, right? Shouting affects the amount of ki in your body. right? The calling of a name, right? You say Kamehameha, that has an effect on the attack.
He doesn't have to say the name to deploy the attack, but okay, sure.
Right? So the reason why
it's not right. But go ahead. It's not right. He doesn't have to say Kamehameha to deploy the attack. What the fuck?
Wait, he said wait, hang on. Someone just said I explained key wrong. Explain.
Wait,
How did I explain key wrong?
Listen, no. Okay, listen. You're debating me. Fuck the chat. Okay? Forget what the chat is saying. All right? Can you please make the point? What is the point?
The point I was making was that there's another aspect of ki, right? We agree that ki is energy. We agree that the way to get stronger with the energy, the ki, is to either have more ki, which can be done through training and all that, or control the amount of ki you have, which is what the mastered forms of each transformation, whether they be Super Saiyan or the Super Saiyan God transformation, right? So the part I'm trying to get at is the spiritual aspect. Now, again, you're going to ask me, okay, how? Like, how does the idea of spirit play into ki?
No, again, that's not what I'm asking you. That's not what I'm asking you at all, JD. That's what
you're asking me how it connects to ki control, which is my argument.
Your argument is ki control, so you need to explain why Goku couldn't do it then, if that's all it takes. Hello?
I'm trying to think about this.
Yeah, because you can't argue it any other way, JD. That's why.
I want to bring out the...
How could you miss such a basic concept?
It's not a basic concept. That's why we've had this hour.
Yes, apparently it is. It's just ki control. Ki control is the gateway to everything.
It's one of the gateways, as stated by Toriyama.
Fine, as stated by Toriyama. So why can't you argue such a simple concept for Goku? It's almost as if it's not entirely consistent,
No, because you're understanding what I'm saying, but you're asking me how. That's the problem. So I'm trying to specifically find a way to explain it in such a way where you are not asking that. You acknowledge that the mastered forms, whether they be Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan Blue, you acknowledge that iteration of the form is more powerful than the unmastered form, correct? More powerful.
Yes.
Right? So it's either you have more ki and you have a better ki control. Well, we can agree that they both have the same amount of ki. They're the same form. You're using the same. That's why it's called. It's in one of the scans, which I will post in the chat right now. It was from the Toritaru manga continuity, where they explain all the forms.
I know they're the same form. One is mastered, which allows you to use 100% of its power, and the other one is not, which does not allow you to use 100% of its power.
Yes.
The question is why.
I would, and the point I've been trying to make is that it's because of ki control. And then you would ask,
okay, so why doesn't Goku do it as soon as he fights MZ? Because he's not strong enough to utilize 100% of Blue's power. In fact, right, and I'm just going to steamroll the argument at this point, okay? In fact, when he even does it, he's short on time. When he does it, he's short on time. And that's after he's healed anyway. So Goku had to get stronger to pull that off.
I don't see how you could say that he got stronger to pull it off.
What the fuck?
No, I don't see how that's a strain of thought.
Because that Goku is stronger than the one prior.
It's stronger, but the question is how. It's either
okay, there you go. So you agree. Okay, cool. So you agree that it's stronger. So Goku is stronger. Okay, concession.
That's not what I just said.
Concession accepted.
I said stronger. I said stronger, correct? I said stronger.
Yes.
Stronger based off the definition of strength by Toriyama.
But why? Because Goku is stronger, so he can use that now, right? He's strong enough to use 100% of his power in that scene.
You're using the premise to describe why the conclusion
was.
No,
JD. JD.
JD. I know what you're doing right now.
What do you mean? I'm not even... JD, it's very simple. Goku became strong enough to use 100% of Super Saiyan Blue because he could not do it before. It's very simple.
No, I disagree with that entirely.
Why? Why do you have to make it so complicated?
Because you said... Because
you're disagreeing with it. You're blatantly disagreeing with it, and then you're not giving anyone a reason to believe why it's just ki control. You're not. You're not doing it. You've even admitted that you're trying to answer the question without acknowledging strength. And yet you're having such a difficult time in doing it. You blatantly just
we both
admitted
agree
that.
what strength is. We both agree what strength
No,
is.
we
Correct?
clearly don't agree. We clearly don't agree because we clearly have different
Strength
perceptions
is
of how strength works in Dragon Ball.
Power. How to get stronger. How to get stronger or power is measured by two things: how much ki do you have, and as stated by Toriyama, how much ki do you have, and how much control over it do you have?
Okay, so
Right?
if Goku just sat around on his ass all day, so why does Goku train?
He increases his base ki. He
Get
increases
stronger,
his
huh?
to get stronger. Okay,
Yes,
that doesn't
okay.
mean that he automatically has a mastered form.
How did Goku master Ultra Instinct?
Let me get to the part of the argument that
How did Goku master Ultra Instinct? No, JD, I'm going to steamroll the argument.
No,
I gave you.
He didn't master UI. He didn't master UI. That's your problem. He didn't master UI.
Whoa!
It's complete UI.
It's what?
Complete UI. Complete UI.
Complete
He
UI.
mastered how to tap. He mastered how to tap into the form. He triggered the form at will.
Okay. Can you prove that? Can you prove that?
Beerus's own statements.
What's his statement?
Let me pull it up right now. It's being able to control a shock to your emotions, right? We agreed yesterday that was control.
So what's the point of training with Merus then? For 6 months.
Okay, well, you understand the how
to get stronger, right? It's almost as if you need a prerequisite first, huh? You need a body that can endure that power, huh? It's almost as if that's the case. It's very similar to Mastered Super Saiyan Blue when Goku had to get stronger in his fight with MZ in order to use that power.
Except Goku has not mastered UI.
Prove it.
There are different tiers of UI. Would you not agree, as stated by Whis?
So?
What do you mean so? If there's different tiers of UI and Goku is employing that technique, which manifests itself as a transformation for Saiyans, how does that mean?
Define tier.
Well, Whis created a scaling between himself, the Grand Priest, Beerus, and Goku. Yeah. Okay. Do you not agree with that? That was literally in chapter 68, right?
He created a scale?
He differentiated himself from the other 4 characters who can use UI.
Based on what?
What do you mean? That's literally stated explicitly in chapter 68.
You know what else is stated when Goku's talking about being at the bottom of the ladder? You know what else is stated? That Whis. You know what else? What does Whis tell Goku?
I fail to see what you're trying to get at.
Okay. He says, okay, so he did master Ultra Instinct, right? But for him, this is just the beginning. Hold on. This is just the beginning for him, right? So Whis creates an analogy where Goku, takes that statement out based on like, okay, so what you're saying is I'm at the bottom of the ladder, and Whis says no. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that from like Merus to my level, that's how much improvement you have, or at least room to grow. And then Whis says, doesn't that excite you? And Goku says, yeah, I want to get stronger.
He wants to get stronger because that's one of the methods of getting stronger is having more ki.
So if he's mastered the ability, right? If he's mastered on how to tap into that technique and use it at will, right? Now that he's mastered it, he can just grow in that form, correct?
But the form is not mastered.
What was the prerequisite?
Blue or Super Saiyan.
No. He trains with Merus for 6 months and gets his ass beat. If you're trying to argue that it's ki control, then argue it. But what's the point of training if all he had to do was just respond to the jarring shock of his emotions and all this other junk? There was a massive prerequisite. There's a massive prerequisite. Okay. And what is the prerequisite? Aside from like the fundamentals of what Ultra Instinct is. There is a prerequisite.
It's a spiritual thing.
Now,
which we've acknowledged.
You need to be able to endure that power, right? There is a prerequisite. You can't just do it just because you feel like it, right?
Goku's body is better able to withstand UI, right? He used it in the Tournament of Power, right? And it was completely inefficient, right? He was losing energy. Do you not agree?
He hadn't trained to wield it properly, so he didn't have. He hadn't trained
to wield it properly, and that's why it had a strain on his body to the point where it knocked him out of the form, and he
so does Omen. So does Super Saiyan Blue. So does Master Super Saiyan Blue. Are you going to answer the question now, JD, or are you going to keep dodging?
The form's not efficient. That's efficiency and ki control are what I'm
efficient about it. What's not efficient about the form?
Is Goku's Ultra Instinct form losing heat? Is losing energy as heat?
Okay.
Even Jiren acknowledges heat in his omen state and in the complete state. Right? There's an aura around them. We agree that the aura around them is energy, no? Ki? It's ki, which is a form of energy. Right? Yeah. Okay, and I told you, the part of the argument earlier was that if we acknowledge that it's life, we acknowledge that ki is life energy, which is a form of energy, they can then talk about the properties of energy, which are already in the Dragon Ball universe. Right? I gave you the example of how gravity exists in Dragon Ball. The trader didn't have to name drop it if you understand it.
So, in order to obtain these transformations, there is a prerequisite of power, right? Required.
For Super Saiyan.
You need to be strong enough. No. Don't blatantly lie. Don't try and rat your way out of it.
I agreed to it. Super Saiyan.
No. Goku had to fight Merus for 6 months.
He didn't know how to unlock the transformation. He was fighting Beerus to learn how to unlock the transformation.
He still had to train.
He trained, which presumably means that his base got stronger, meaning his amount of energy got stronger. I agree with that.
Stronger, so he can utilize the technique efficiently. Correct?
But he has not learned to utilize the technique efficiency. That's the part I disagree with.
Can you prove that?
Okay, that's the part where we're having a debate on.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Because you're telling me that that is the case, that it's efficient and that he has mastered the form because he has learned to unlock it at will. That is not true.
Okay, Goku mastered Super Saiyan Blue and he can still get stronger in MSSB. Right? Vegeta does that. He evolves, right? He gets Master Super Saiyan Blue, that gets Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, and continues to grow using the same form from like 5 arcs ago.
Yes, so their base ki got stronger, but that doesn't mean. But wait. Is there an aura around all of those forms?
So is there an aura
around all of their forms?
Another time. So that's another time you've acknowledged.
Is there
right?
Is there ki leaking
stronger,
in all of the forms?
Which means, hold on. In order for them to conceal that ki, right, the overflowing power of Super Saiyan Blue, right, they require a body that can sustain that power. Okay, and to do that, they need to get stronger. It's not just ki control.
It's not just ki control. Yes, I never said
that. No. You've been trying to argue in favor of ki control on top of power, and yet you're trying to dismiss power at the same time. It's hilarious.
Ki control is one aspect of getting stronger.
No, but you've been trying to only. Hold on. So wait a minute. So again, your premise is operating off of Akira Toriyama's interview, right? And he acknowledges that the size of your ki and ki control are both important. And yet, when I gave you an example of mastering Super Saiyan Blue, you tried to dodge the strength aspect and only tried to acknowledge the ki control aspect. Why is that? It's almost as if it's kind of like inconsistent with your argument, huh?
Because you're using 100% of the energy of that form.
The energy of what form?
If we're arguing about what is the difference between Super Saiyan Blue Goku of the same arc and Super Saiyan Blue Goku,
we're not arguing what the difference is. We know what the difference is. You just won't admit it. I'm asking what the prerequisite is. What did Goku have to do to use that power?
We agree that the mastered form is more powerful than the unmastered form. We're arguing about why that's the case.
Why though? Because it's just like you said, Goku's base is stronger, huh?
Look how I set up the argument. I gave you only 2 choices.
Goku's base is stronger, right? You did say that, right?
I did not say that Goku's base was stronger.
Did he just not admit to Goku's base being stronger?
No, when
you're being so dishonest right now, JD. Oh my god,
JD,
you're being so dishonest right now, JD.
How am I being dishonest?
You blatantly just admitted to Goku's base being stronger. You just said it.
Just the 4th time.
No. Through training. So wait. So Goku didn't get stronger in the MZ fight?
I mean, yeah. If you agree with Zenkai boost, if you agree,
concession accepted.
That's not a concession.
It is a concession.
When I was making my argument, I told you barring Zenkai boost in training.
Why would you bar Zenkai? Why would you dismiss that? Because it's a hypothetical scenario. Because it's not consistent with the source material at all. Jeez, you're so dishonest. Jesus Christ. I gave you an hour and a half. An hour and a half.
You said that Goku's base was different. You said that Goku's base referring to...
I did not say Goku's base is stronger. I did not say Goku's base is different. I said Goku got stronger. And because he got stronger, he can now utilize 100% of Super Saiyan Blue power.
There's only 2 choices of how he got stronger.
That's why you wanted to dismiss Zenkai and training. You said barring Zenkai and training. That's why you wanted to dismiss that. And you created a hypothetical scenario.
What is training?
I don't know. Apparently, you don't believe in it. Apparently, you don't believe in training.
What is training? What is the process of training?
You train to get stronger. You train to get stronger.
No,
you fight.
That's the first explanation. Congrats. No. Yeah. What is training mean? What is happening based on what I just established with what Toriyama said about ki, which is the power.
You're growing stronger. Yeah. My argument is
the question is how. The question is how.
How? By training, by fighting, by getting stronger.
Sure. You agree that he gets stronger by training. The question is, what is the training that is allowing him to get stronger? It is
Goku gets stronger by training, and he gets stronger mid-battle as well. You don't seem to agree with that.
That's the Zenkai. That's the Zenkai part. I'm asking
so
right now.
He does get stronger. So Goku does get stronger. Okay, concession accepted. That's how he's able to utilize that power that he couldn't utilize before that. Huh? Even though Whis was training them to do this, but Goku couldn't do that with training alone, huh? He had to be put in a situation to where his life was on the line, right? He had to get stronger. He had to fuse as Vegito, get stronger from that mid-fight, right? Which is established many times in that arc by itself already, okay? And then he had to get healed, and then finally he was strong enough to utilize 100% of Super Saiyan Blue's power, and he was able to fight MZ on equal footing. It's not that complicated, JD.
Training involves two things. You either increase your ki, or you increase the amount of ki or the control of your ki. Two things. No, two things, right? We agree. Do you agree that's what training is? Right? If you're eating food, if you're eating food. Oh, hang on a second. Whoa, hang on a second. I need to make sure we understand what the definition of training is.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
We all agree what Zenkai is. No one is disagreeing with what Zenkai is.
I'll take that. I'll take that W. Take that.
How is that a W? I'm asking you a question.
You don't know what a Zenkai is.
It's fine then, man. It's fine.
A Zenkai is when you have a near-death experience and you get stronger. Your base gets stronger. Your base, meaning your amount of ki in this case.
Which allows him to what? Utilize a form he couldn't utilize when he was weaker, right?
We know that based off the Super Saiyan transformation.
We don't know.
We're in any data book or interview or source statements from a character, does it say that God, the transformation for Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue or Ultra Instinct requires some kind of level of power? Where does it say that?
Let's see. Why is that an inference? Why do we make that inference?
We know that there's a trigger. There is a level of power, a threshold of power that needs to be met for Goku to have turned into a Super Saiyan.
That's the second concession.
How is that a concession?
You're not understanding. You're literally not seeing how my argument, how my thing is more consistent with your own premise than yours is.
We understand what training is. We understand what Zenkai is. They involve the same principles that Toriyama just stated. Increase your energy, increase your ki, or increase your control of ki. We agree on that, correct?
No. You said no. Based on a Toriyama statement, you do both. It's not one or the other.
You do both. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, hang on. Wait.
The argument is not consistent with both, though. You keep saying "or," and that's not even your premise. That's what's hilarious about this. Jesus Christ.
What is the difference between the mastered form of a Saiyan transformation and the unmastered form? We agree that the mastered form is stronger. We're asking why. Why is it? So
the mastered form is stronger because the base form is stronger.
That doesn't make sense because
why
Super
not?
Saiyan Blue,
Why not?
by definition,
Why not?
is using 100% of Super Saiyan Blue. Do you see the circular logic?
Super Saiyan Blue. No. Do you see the circular logic? Jesus Christ.
That is circular logic. If I'm asking, we both agree on what we both agree on what power is by Saiyan.
You don't agree. No. See, again, my argument is consistent with Akira Toriyama's interview with his statement there, because my argument operates under both statements. You keep saying key control, size of key, or key control, when we've established multiple times that it has to be both.
We initially agreed that it was the size of your key and the control over it.
Okay, so it's not the size of your key or the control, right?
If we're taking a literary interpretation from what Toriyama just stated, it's the and, correct? It's key, the amount of key you have, and the control of key.
Your ability to control it, and your ability to control it.
Yes. Okay. So if I give you the example, of the mastered form of a transformation and then the unmastered form of the transformation, I argued that they're the same base Goku. That meaning that
they're not. Nope.
They're not if you include the idea of training and Zenkai boost, which happens.
So
in those
then, concession accepted. That's the concession immediately. How is that not? How is that not consistent? How is that not fair?
Because I'm asking what the there's two different.
No, that's a concession. I'm not continuing. That's like the.
That's the ninth.
I'll take that.
That's the ninth one.
Good debate, bro. Good debate.
I didn't even get to the part with Beerus.
80. The issue is that you use Goku as a modifier. It ruined your entire.
JD, what did Frieza do in hell, bro? What did Frieza do in hell?
You were literally dodging the question.
His key control improved in hell.
And what did he also gain? From it. He got stronger.
JD.
In hell, if you're referring to the events of when he was in hell for 7 years,
is that Goku is a modifier to the form. Can't just say Goku before fusion and Goku after fusion and say they're clones. That's retarded. One Goku is stronger than the other, bro.
JD, I have a very fundamental question to ask. Do you even watch Dragon Ball?
Yes.
JD, another thing. If you equivocate both Gokus, that still doesn't work in your favor because it contradicts your premise in saying that key control makes one thing stronger than the other. So why would you say MS's Mastered Blue is the same strength as regular blue? That's retarded. Why would you say that?
They're not the same strength.
So why would you say?
No. He implied that. No. That's not what he said. No, he implied that the both Gokus were equivalent, meaning their bases, when that's not true at all. Yeah, Goku definitely got stronger to utilize the form. That's just bullshit.
I'm saying he is because he's making them equivalent because of the forms as well by explaining their concept, which is stupid.
Themselves wouldn't be equivalent.
If the definition of Master Super Saiyan Blue in the manga panel, there's a panel details all the transformations.
I get your point, but to some extent, but no.
You were going to say that, JD? Just talk about the form itself and the conception. Don't apply Goku as a modifier. That messes up your example.
And then you use two different types of Goku and then try to equivalent them, and that's how it works.
Someone just mentioned the Frieza thing. He was in hell and he got stronger. The question was how? Well, his base is the same because he hasn't done any training.
They're showing you that this Frieza is stronger. That's why applying a person as the modifier messes up your whole argument.
No, but you're forgetting context. You're forgetting context.
For Frieza, he does mental train. He does do image training, and Goku does the same thing in the beginning of Battle of Gods. It's a common concept that they do to get stronger as well, or to own their skills. But yeah, for Frieza,
he mentioned his control of ki. What do you think that is employing based on what Toriyama has already stated?
Frieza was a weird case, though.
Just to maintain Golden Frieza, so it's not stamina aids.
Golden Frieza didn't master his form, didn't he? When he was initially using it.
No, he burned through it, right?
He didn't master his form. No, we didn't.
Yeah, it's just like he got stronger.
He got stronger, unlocked a new form, and he didn't have that form mastered.
I was on the I was on the Wikipedia or something.
He just mastered the form, so it doesn't burn through his stamina.
Someone mentioned Frieza got stronger in hell. That is correct. He got stronger. The question is how. There's only two methods: either having more ki or having a control over your ki. Frieza's
both. That's the thing.
He did mental training though.
He got revived and then he did training.
Said it.
And that's when his
Frieza's an exception. So Frieza's an exception. Here's why. When he was revived, he didn't have the issue of stamina drain, or he had a more durable body because he was dead anyway. So he didn't have to worry about that.
I was I was on the Wikipedia or something, and I was looking at pure progress for hit, and for some reason it was labeled the same thing for Frieza. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with this, but the fact that he has an adaptation that makes him different. I don't know. In this example, Frieza's different. You can't quite use Frieza the same. Yeah, obviously. I'm just.
Frieza got stronger in hell during the 7 years before Resurrection F. He got stronger through image training, as Amash pointed out. And he specifically came back. He's still the same strength. Then he did training. He did training with his henchmen, which means implies that his level of ki, the amount of ki he has in his body, increased, and then presumably his level of ki control increased too because he unlocked a new form.
Can you just listen to one thing? You posted a scan with Akira saying "and," not "or," and then you contradicted by saying "or." Do you see that as an issue, JD? That's an issue.
In some of the arguments, when I was talking with Emash, I may have been caught saying "or." That is a mistake that I made.
So then that messes up your argument. You just okay, JD.
But No, but if I give you two different forms,
except that
if I give you the same character, Goku, right?
You agree with something that is said, right? And its logic is based on and, not or. Why are you employing or?
I'm making you have to make a logical inference because I gave you the situation of I specifically told Emash, let me clone a version of Goku. Then that same clone, I'm going to clone another one, give him the mastered form. Then
we just broke that all apart now. You have to try something completely different. Or actually, the argument's finished now, so you just need to concede and just take it in. Just everyone else is quiet. Just take it in for now. All right, whatever. Don't worry about it.
You do understand it though, bro.
We get it. That's why we've just differentiated.
That's why we're trying to help you realize all your stuff.
Ultimately, the main point, right, is that my scenario is more consistent with your own premise than yours is. Okay? Hold on, let me finish. Your two Gokus are based on a hypothetical. If I clone the two, borrowing Zenkai and training, why would you immediately dismiss, right, two key factors that play into how Saiyans operate? Well, one of the two especially, right? And the second one being training, which is like Goku's whole shtick, right? And then the Zenkai, why would you bar that? Why would you dismiss that? Why?
Because I'm going off exactly what Toriyama stated.
Then it's wrong. Then it's wrong. But you're not doing it because Akira and Toyotaro, they write this shit and they're telling you otherwise. So that means you have to consider that your portrayal of his statement is incorrect. It's not consistent with what he put forth in the source material. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
The V-Jump scan for the Toyotaro manga, after the Turn of Power, there was a scan, because if I recall, in the manga, there was a scene where Goku seemingly does the Kaioken Blue, which had never appeared in the manga up until that point. After the events of the Turn of Power...
operates on a similar... It operates on a similar...
It's not about the form. It's not about the form. What I'm saying is, after the Turn of Power was wrapped up in the manga, they then released, I think it was Toei Animation, they released a manga panel detailing all the Super Saiyan God transformations, including Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolution and the perfected forms. And the definition of the perfected form was, this is the full power of Super Saiyan Blue. Meaning that it's the same form. Do you not agree that Super Saiyan Blue is the same thing as Master Super Saiyan Blue?
Oh, Jesus Christ, JD, but how did he do it?
How?
Okay.
That's the part we're arguing.
Yes. Okay. The prerequisite is what matters first. The control comes second. My scenario is more consistent. Why? Because I'm considering both of what Akira Toriyama says, which is about the size of it and the control of it. Okay. Yours is actually dismissing. You're trying to bar Zenkais and training, which is something pivotal for that Goku does mid-fight to transform, to get stronger in order to overcome his opponents, to give himself a chance at winning. That's how he gets stronger. He gets stronger mid-fight. He gets stronger through training. But typically, Saiyans tend to get a lot stronger in the midst of battle than they do in training. It's how Goku got Super Saiyan. Okay? Goku gets... I mean, look, another example is Goku. When he's dead, he can utilize Super Saiyan 3 a lot better than when he's alive. Why? Because his body is more durable when he's dead. He doesn't have to worry about those issues. Okay? But that's only Super Saiyan. It's the same mechanics for all the other forms that Goku gets. Jesus Christ. All right, JD. All right.
You do know that Super Saiyan Blue is just a god going Super Saiyan, right?
It's
we
Super Saiyan. However, but you're using a different kind of key.
It doesn't matter.
We don't know all the mechanics of God Key. We only know what God Key is.
It's key. It scales higher. What's there to understand?
Yeah.
Okay, it scales higher. Okay, but if you're trying to make an argument about, you
can't say okay and then continue, dude. You have to say no and then continue. Saying okay is a concession. Stop it, please.
Man, I think Dad lost the insults today, bro.
Fuck.
I didn't even get to the Beerus.
Please.
I wonder why.
Logic does not allow you to get there. It's flawed.
No, I'm trying to make you understand the logic, which is...
You can't understand something that's illogical, JD.
It's not even that. All
right, okay, put a poll up. If you upload this, put a poll up and let's see what the audience thinks.
You know what they're gonna
The
think.
entire audience is speaking to you and telling you what they think.
We are talking to you right now.
Upload the full thing, right? Even right now, upload that, and then the scans that were posted in here, you can either link.
They're gonna say that I slapped you again. They're gonna say that I slapped you
They
again.
may, right? If you put on your channel, I'm sure a lot of people will come to your defense.
Why does it have to be on my channel? What does it mean? I slapped you, JD. I slapped you. So forget like being nice. I slapped you.
That's a subjective statement, but okay.
No. I don't know. I have reasons to believe that.
That's why I'm asking
right?
you to have a poll. So
Yeah. It's fine. If preponderance of evidence would suggest that I slapped you. Right? It's pretty. It's pretty simple.
Still, I don't think it's an admission.
No. You trapped yourself, and I called out your trap, and you tried to dodge it, and I did not.
I tried to insert other variables that I was not.
No, and I didn't let you escape, and that bothered you. That's why you never got to the Beerus point. All right. So again,
what was this argument about?
Who is this Toon guy? Who the fuck is this Toon guy?
Somebody had debated on Beerus and fucking Jiren or something.
Did you slap him?
Yes.
Yeah. Then all right. Then Toon, you're trash, dude. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, Jesus Christ. All I see is this dude talking about me being toxic, dude. You could suck my dick if you don't like it. How about that?
All right. All I'm saying is just upload the debate.
Do you want to go right now, Toon? You want to debate a topic right now? And I'd slap the shit out of you on the topic. Any topic, pick one.
Toon, do it now. Come on. We need this.
Amish got out of this debate. He chose violence. You don't care no more.
No, dude, like this dude is like he's always in here talking about I'm toxic and all this other shit. And like he just sat here and listened to the type of shit that I have to deal with when it comes to debating stances and shit like that. But I'm the fucking toxic one. Jesus Christ.
Listening to the guy go in circles. I mean, JD, I'm sorry, you went in circles for eons.
I just listened to his argument for an hour and 30 minutes. And most of the time, I don't give people that courtesy. I don't do that. I don't fucking do that
really
shit.
Don't. He don't not do that courtesy.
I'm not as JD is with the exception of Nigel. JD is probably the most like the only other person I've been patient with.
Bruh.
I appreciate that.
Okay, all right then. Well, we come to a conclusion then. But
I'm trolling that. Damn, bro. He pulled me.
Mario versus Luigi. Oh snap! He's doing a new debate.
We don't need the poll, dude.
Don't need a poll.
Just for now.
Okay, MS for 1, JD for 2. I'm putting 1. That's what I'm doing. Thank you.
Wow, that's an overdue. Can we ban Toon?
Toon?
Keep him in there. No, don't ban Toon. This is just a joke. Just keep him in there. It's fun. We need memes, man. What's going on? Freedom of speech.
God,
there, have it.
You should.
What about 1.5? Does that count? I'm joking.
Can someone remind me? Can someone remind me of what? There was a point. I forgot it now, but there was a point Amish brought up. And it was the question that Amish was trying to ask JD the entire time. But then when he finally got around to answering it, it was something about the spiritual side. What was can I be reminded of that if someone remembers?
Why didn't Goku just do it if it was simply key control? That was the question.
Okay, and then he mentioned some spiritual aspect.
Then JD said there's a spiritual aspect to key that I haven't explained yet. And then Amish would ask the question again.
He tried to use a light bulb analogy. He tried to bring up a light bulb, and while he was referencing the light bulb, I asked him what's the lifespan of the light bulb, and he said that's not what I'm talking about. I said no, it's a very pivotal part of the light bulb because over its lifespan it starts to get weaker, which is similar to Goku. So at one point Goku is weaker, and at one point he's stronger. Why? Because he gets healed again. He gets a Zenkai. He gets stronger mid-fight, or whatever you want to call it, okay? The point is he grows mid-battle after becoming a Vegito, right? And then he gets healed, and he's like he's a new Goku, but he's stronger than what he was before. So in comparison to the new light bulb, right? I think what he was trying to do was say that, and he could have argued this efficiently if he just went with it. He could have said that no, the reason this Goku is stronger than the other one in the example of the light bulb is that the light bulb is the same light bulb as the other one, though it's just a brand new one, similar to Goku who got healed. It's the same Goku, though it's not really consistent. I would have just called that out anyway. but that's what he could have tried to do.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't have said that.
The definition that of Super Saiyan Blue mastered from the manga, which whether you want to argue the source of that, said that Super Saiyan Blue perfected is 100% of the power of Super Saiyan.
Did you not just listen to what Emish just explained to you for like the 10th time?
The new thing. He said if it was a new light bulb, that would have been a
Okay,
fair analysis.
and the new one is stronger than the weaker one, right?